Can you get away with playing single-coil riffs on a humbucker guitar?
Can you?
I don't know. Hey everyone, my name is Kris.
My name is Guillaume, welcome to Thomann's Guitars and Basses, and to today's video. If you haven't, you should subscribe. Because that would mean that you were unfortunate enough to have missed the first video of this installment of Can We Make This Sound Like That? In the last video, what I'm assuming is the last video where you saw the both of us, we were experimenting with Stratocasters, specifically S-type guitars, and trying to see if you could get away with playing humbucker riffs, humbucker sounds when you only had that instrument. The idea, and I'll repeat that, is not to try and hide the fact that you're playing a specific guitar. It's not to just necessarily explore what those specific pickups have to offer, but more like it's your only guitar. It's the one guitar you have, and you want to learn a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You just got your first Gibson, Epiphone, Les Paul, LP type single cut instrument, and you want to learn some John Mayer. Can you convincingly learn some
Would you want to though?
Would you want to? Yes, you would. Of course you would. You would want to learn some John Mayer. You want to learn some Stevie Ray Vaughan. You want to learn some Shadows. You want to learn some Dire Straits that's not revolving around the Les Paul that he was also using.
Yeah.
Can you? Can you? And what should you do to get to that sound? This is the purpose of this video. Welcome.
We are not faking Strat sounds. We are trying to make this and that sound great for those kind of songs, even though it's still gonna, have its own thing, which is totally fine. Let's try to get some nice single coil-esque kind of clean tones first.
Yeah, absolutely.
How would you approach that?
Well, as we explained in the previous video, the main difference between those two types of pickup is going to be the frequency response. We're going to address a little bit of this, the volume, like the output difference, that kind of thing. But the frequency response is the big thing, where humbuckers are going to be mid-humpy, generally speaking. Again, single coils are going to be more bell-like curved. The scooped? Scooped is the guitar word for that.
Which doesn't mean that they don't have mid-range. They have a lot of that, but the peak of that mid-range is much higher on the frequency range, which means that it sounds thinner compared to a humbucker, which has a ton of low mids.
Exactly. So to compensate for that, what you want to do is keep those low mids under control as much as possible. Try and introduce a little bit of that sparkle, that treble, high mid-range, call it whatever you want. In terms of low end, I'd say leave it be for a while. Just experiment with the low end just about 12 o'clock. We're going to be doing it with pedals today as we did last time, because it's a good visual way for you guys to understand what goes where. You can do it with an amp, you can do it with a modular. That's not the question at all. So I'm going to use the Thomann Deluxe to boost a whole lot of treble.
Oh wow. Okay.
Cut a whole lot of mids and keep the volume down a little bit under unity, which means like it's going to be a little quieter with the pedal than with just straight into the amp. Reason for that is the pedal is going to influence the frequency response, but so is the speaker, of course. And the more air you're going to push through that speaker, the more it's going to have. So you want to be able to cut a little bit of that low end as well by turning the volume down a little bit if possible. That will take me from that abomination of a John Mayer cover
G, A, E.
Don't forget the roots. It's also very important when you want to make your humbucker sound like a single coil.
Okay, two things. First, I really dug your humbucker mayor
Sounds cool.
sound at the beginning, but also I was really impressed by the way you tweaked the sound. If you look at the Thomann settings, it's like, oh no, 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 no,
Super
no.
extreme.
But
Yeah.
it does really work.
It works.
Like it.
It works to an extent. The problem is that you'll find if you want to do it that way and not the other way, like in the previous video, is that this one is a lot more about subtracting than it is about adding, and that's much more complicated.
Yeah.
Adding, you can always add more of whatever. Cutting with an overdrive pedal, for example, even with a 3-band EQ, is a lot more difficult without bringing in a lot of other problems when it comes to the voicing of the mid-range, the voicing of the high end, the low end. You know, that's my opinion on it. However, a little bit more sparkle in that one. I did like it.
I would do the following thing for clean. First of all, I do have an EQ pedal on my board, which is something that is definitely the most versatile tool, and I've said that in the Strat video. Everyone should have one. It's just the easiest way to tailor your tone. And the other thing is a trick. That's my secret trick for getting into a more single-coily kind of sound with a humbucker. I have a little mod on this guitar. This is my humbucker guitar with a treble bleed mod on the neck humbucker. Only on the neck humbucker, the bridge doesn't really need it. What I use it for is, first of all, to balance out the EQ curve when I turn it down. But it kind of helps the treble a little bit more than the low end, which makes it sound a bit more sparkly if I turn it down.
How dare you come prepared for that video?
So that is something that I would definitely recommend for every humbucker user if they want to get away with just using a humbucker and want to get into more spanky sounds. Consider this. This is literally a 20-cent kind of mod.
And I'm sure there's an episode of Guitar Tech Tips in which she's going to tell you exactly how to do that.
Super easy mod. It's such a good thing. It does that on 10, and then I'll go down to like 7, 8, and you'll see, you'll hear rather, what changes. It's not a Strat, obviously.
For sure,
it's not a coil split, but it does sound much more like a P90 all of a sudden without any EQing, any trickery or whatever.
We're going to rename those videos How to Sound Like a P90.
Yeah, pretty much. Isn't that the coolest pickup ever? Yes, it is. Cool. All right, so let's try to do some gainy stuff.
Yeah.
I would, can I take over? I cannot wait to play this pedal. Please. This is gonna be a pedal type that is gonna work for every humbucker guitar if you wanna get a nice and sparkly and clean drive sound. This is the granddaddy of neutral drives, the ODR circuit, the Noble's ODR circuit. It's the Bell by Wampler, and it's a glorious overdrive for that. Low to mid gain, and it does this. And I didn't even trick with the treble bleed, which would have made it even more sort of clear, but hey, that's already a good space for like a good bluesy sound.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't like overtly in your face, humbuckery.
No.
I get it. Okay, well, I'm again going to be extremely drastic with my settings. As I mentioned, I'm pro change your tone before your drive so that the clipping feels more like it's clipping everything it needs to clip already and you don't have to cut a whole bunch of stuff afterwards. I'm using the Custom Ridge today again. It's not the only overdrive that allows you to have a pre-tone tone stack, basically like a pre-clipping tone stack, dare I say. I dare, and it's exactly what it is. But like, yeah, I'm gonna try and introduce as much treble as possible into that pre-tone thing and cut what I don't need with the post-tone. That's the general idea.
Oh,
It's too few mids.
no.
Okay. I'm super happy with the first sounds that I got. Like the obviously 535, 035 is wrong. 535 is what it should be. Like, yeah, classic sort of Ritchie Blackmore, like cranked Strat bridge tone, really. Worked nice, not too nasal, I think. It started getting real nice with the neck pickup, I think, because the lower mid-range was still like present, it was there, but there was that growl, that
the clunk, 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 the chewiness of a
super happy with it.
EQ is always there to help you. You can try it before your drive or after the drive. If you have a drive pedal like the Kernum Ridge, then of course you have that internally. But if you do have like a modeler or anything else or like a separate EQ pedal, you can play with the order. If you put it before your drive is happening or after, helps so much. And of course the mid-range is the lower mids that make a humbucker sound so distinctively different compared to P90 or a Strat or a Tele. So that is what definitely helps you to get away with, even without having like a coil split on your guitar.
Absolutely. EQ pedal is something that we tend to forget can also go into an effects loop.
Totally, if you use an overdriven amp.
Exactly. If you use an overdriven amp and you want to try both methods, you have an effects loop, of course, there's a lot of ifs, but most amps nowadays, even more so the multi-channel amps, are going to have an effects loop. Experiment with that as well, because that's so mighty. Really cool, like if you want to EQ post gain structure, it works like a charm.
Totally. And also let us know in the comments below, what are your favorite ways of using your humbucker guitar for non-humbuckery sounds? Because you might know something that works really well for you. We didn't mention it, and other people would really appreciate reading about it. So please do so.
Do it for the community.
Community.
Yes.
Hashtag.
And if you hashtag community. If you want to keep bonding with that community, subscribe. It's the best trick we can teach you today. Hit the subscribe button. You're going to learn so much. But yeah, take care of yourselves and catch you in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye.